Brian Chambliss on the win. We're just going to quickly go have a look at what happened to Hernandez here at the very end. Ooh. Alright, that's a little bit of he said, she said there. We won't worry too much about that one though. Because here is Brian Chambliss. He's going to celebrate his win here at Michigan. He's going to do it in style. But at the moment, it is Brian Bateman in the lead of this race in the 83 car. And it's not a bad looking car. Like, this is actually one of the cars that I really rate as far as paint schemes go. It's nice and it's simple. It's black with the silver trim down on the bottom of the car. It just looks nice and classic, Brian.
Yeah, it's definitely a simple looking paint scheme, reminiscent of Dale Earnhardt Sr. with the black. You know, you see that black car coming up in your rear view, you know, you better watch out.
That's exactly right. He wasn't the Intimidator for nothing. But at the moment, he is going to be in the lead of this race. Derek Runge has re-overtaken second. Chambliss sitting in third, and he is only just in front of James Binning in that trip. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel, and welcome to the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Autism Awareness 154. And it should be a fantastic race that we have in store for us here today. It's a very slick racetrack, and a lot can happen. It looks like we've got a few drivers out on track at the moment. There's a 12 of Matt Burgess, currently P7, just behind him, the 2 of Chris Champeau. We've got 15. Oh, Chris Champeau getting loose. We're going to be seeing a lot of that here today. I did do some practice with the drivers earlier on in the practice here, and yeah, loose is definitely the way it is. As Ken Campbell just coming to a stop on the back straight, looks like we're going to have ourselves a pit party to kick things off with, as is tradition when we start these broadcasts. We're going to have Travis Massier and Kyle Kraus leading away the field for the pit party. Looks like Joan Sanchez not wanting to participate in the pit party, deciding to stay in the pits. And joining Travis Massier at the front is going to be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. The Frank Isaacson up there, the 12 of Matt Burgess, the 64 of Jonas Marquez. A lot of people preferring to be on the outside lane by the looks of things. They come off turn 4, get this pit party started. Another big thing is going to be wheel spin. You see the 64, Jonas Marquez, he hit the wall there because of that little bit of wheel spin there on the start. Wheel spin will be a big factor around here. Or at least on the restarts. So too, as I said before, will be the looseness of these trucks around here. There's James Lindau struggling with a little bit of looseness coming out of turn 4. Managed to save it though. Well done. Look at that 3 wide coming out of turn 2. Looks like they got back down to 2x2 just before the exit. Back to 3 wide again. Frank's doing pretty well here, staying up in 5th for the pit party. Frank currently 10th overall in the standings so far. In fact, make that 9th, as my time does not count. See some people still struggling with Luis Marquez and Massier there. Getting affected coming out of turn 2 with the looseness. There's a 13 of Travis Massier as well. And Campbell trying to make a strong run here. Same 2 with the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. On the outside, that's the 2 of Chris Champeau making it 3 wide. Oh, Frank got loose. Frank's caused the death of the field. At least 4 cars involved in that, maybe 5. There's Ken Campbell's broken and beaten car coming to a stop on the back straight. There's a 60 of Kyle Kraus, the 12 of Matt Burgess. They're both looking for a good run here. Currently, Kyle Kraus P2 in the standings, Matt Burgess P7. Oh, and Kraus got loose. Burgess gave him the finishing touch there to send him right around just about. It was a good save by Kraus, though. Managed to hold on to it, get back onto the track, just slip in behind Chris Champeau. Got some cars coming into practice pit entries. And that's not how you practice pit entry. There's a 24, Frank Isaacson. He's got Jonas Marquez just behind him. Just in front of the pair of them is a 66 of Sam Niederhelm. We currently have 18 cars registered for this race, including the newly crowned Night Owl Racing League Dirt Oval champion, James Watson. Oh, someone getting loose there. I think that is James Lindow in the 91. He saved it, though. It was a nice save for the FedEx car. Back onto the 64 of Jonas Marquez, the sponsor for today's event, in the Autism Awareness number 64 car. Just in front of him, the Autism Awareness number 24 of Frank Isaacson. Nice. Nice. It looks like everyone's starting to kind of sort of get a hang of the looseness that these trucks are feeling. As Lindow powers his way around Mark Pentecoff, who was just struggling with it, coming out of two. Some of the paint's starting to get refreshed here. And it seems that latest update that we've had from Windows has messed up some of the settings a little bit. Plus, these cameras aren't overly loud by the sounds of things. That sounds a little bit better though. There's a 60 Kyle Kraus. He's right on the tail of the two of Chris Champeau. Kyle Kraus currently P3, Chris Champeau currently P5. Leading the way, in which should be no surprise to absolutely anyone, is the 50 of Christian Budd. Matt Horton currently P2, just 600ths of a second behind the time set by Christian Budd. Kyle Kraus P3, Jaron Sanchez P4. And we got Chris Champeau 5, Hernandez P6, Matt Burgess in 7th, Ryan Pizzakemi 8th, John Lazelle 9th, and Ken Campbell in the top 10. There's the 23, John Lazelle. We're back to 78, Brian Pizzakemi, who has inserted himself into this battle with Chris Champeau and Kyle Kraus. Got cars just generally a little bit of all over the track right now. And it looks like, as I said, everyone's starting to really get a hang of the looseness that these trucks are feeling. Of course, there's not too terribly much in the back of these things to weigh them down. Mostly just the fuel tank and the back axle. And there's a little bit of bar work there as well, but that doesn't really have too much to do with it. As you see, Kyle Kraus now practicing a pit entry. Oh, Jonas Marquez getting loose with James Lindau right on his tail. I think Lindau got a little bit loose there as well. I reckon we'll see a little bit of that, a little bit of monkey see, monkey do when it comes to someone getting loose. As in the background there, Thomas Harmon smoking both those rear tyres as he was making his way through turns 1 and 2. There's Matt Horton, he's gone for a slide. He gathered it back up. Oh, Thomas Harmon in the fence. Not very often we see that happening. It could be a little bit of a tactic to tighten up the truck a little bit, because you get a little bit of that right side damage. Helps to tighten up whichever vehicle you're driving when it comes to dealing with a loose vehicle on an oval. But it didn't work for too long because Thomas Harmon loose and into the inside fence. There's Ken Campbell in the 15, the 24, Frank Isaacson. And Frank going for a drift through 1 and 2 that time. Oh, he's still trying to save it. And he does. Got it saved for the entry into turn 3. Well done, Frank. And looks like he's going to bring that back into the pits and get another set of tyres on it. Could you imagine if the tyre restrictions came over from practice as well? That'd make things interesting. Everyone would burn through all their sets in practice. Fools, I think I just saw Christian Budd going for a drift through 1 and 2. He must have, because he's pulling down to the infield. He says, I'm not going to deal with this set anymore. It's done what it needed to do for those few seconds that he was on track for. Grass and Lindau side by side going into 1 and 2. Oh, Lindau got loose. And Lindau go for a spin on the front stretch, which is not normally where we see people spinning out. Normally we see it coming off a turn 2, just like Chris Champeau is exempling for us. Perfect timing. There's the 15 of Ken Campbell and the 50 of Christian Budd on screen. Now the 64 Jonas Marquez and Kyle Kraus. Kraus has been out there for a while on this set. I think he's trying to get a long run in. I think Jonas is on a little bit fresher tyres as well. You know what, John Lazelle's been out there for a while on his tyres. Unless he just hasn't been doing very many laps. At the moment, with the 18 cars that we have signed up for the race, plus myself, as Thomas Harmon goes for a spin, we have a strength of field of 27-12. There's Christian Budd, he's just pulling off on the back straight. Now, iRacing doesn't know where to look. Oh, Thomas Harmon going for a spin. That's the exit of turn 2, where I reckon all the trouble is going to be. Oh, the 33 Matt Horton spinning off as well. There is the 13 of Travis Massier. There's Frank Isaacson getting a little bit loose there on the apron, coming out from the pits. And so far, Mark Pentecoff's on the longest run. He's had an 11-lap run so far in the set that he's on. There's John Lazelle, the 23. James Watson is on track. He hasn't set a lap yet. He's just done so now, currently in 18th. So hopefully he'll improve on that. There's Matt Horton. And right there with Matt Horton is the 2 of Chris Champeau. Got about 11 minutes left here in practice now. Having a quick look at the order, it's now Christian Budd from Jaron Sanchez by 0.02 of a second. And it's Matt Horton, Brian Pizzakemi, Kyle Kraus, and Chris Champeau in P6. Thomas Harmon, John Lizelle, Travis Massia, and Jonathan Hernandez, who has dropped down to 10th. Travis Massia just getting into the wall there, coming out of turn 2, just behind. I think that said James Watson, but it looked like an autism awareness paint. That is an autism awareness paint. He threw me for a loop. I'm used to seeing him in the yellow truck and yellow cars. But now he's in the autism awareness colors. Oh, this is going to confuse me because that is a very similar paint to one Frank Isaacson. Oh, as we see Jaron in the pits for no apparent reason. And now back to this group. James Watson pulling off to the apron. Oh, and there's a crash. Lindau's going around, the 5 of Pensy Cup involved, the 24 of Frank Isaacson involved. Now you got Kraus trying to battle with Christian Budd. And Budd pulling into the pits. There's Lozelle with Campbell. Jonathan Hernandez just looming in the background. Oh, Campbell hit the fence and Hernandez goes around. Possibly an overreaction to Campbell getting into the fence there. And I think they're trying to organise another pit party here. They are. Alright, let's see what these guys can do in the final 8 minutes of practice. Got 91 of Lindell on the pole. You got Jaron Sanchez outside front row. You got James Watson and Jonathan Hernandez in the top 4. And they're off and racing. Oh, there's going to be death. We're looking at Watson, who's on the infield, but look at the deaths behind him. Oh, Campbell got lifted in the air. Oh, Sam Niederhelm died. Pretty sure Brian Pizzakemi died. There's another crash that happened in the middle of 3 and 4. Yeah, he had a Hernandez, the 24, Frank Isaacson. I'm pretty sure the 2 of Chris Champeau was in that one. So they're possibly going to re-rack it, restack it, and try it again. As Matt Burgess spins that number 12. And yep, that's exactly what they're doing. Re-racking, restacking, and going again. And some people using the apron to fall to the back because they don't want to be at the very front. And it looks like the front row is going to be Kyle Kraus on the pole, Frank Isaacson outside. I got the 39 of James Watson just behind. As you can see, both very similar paint jobs. The only real difference is the 24 is in a Chevy and the 39 is in a Ford. They come out of turn 4 and they're kicking off the secondary pit party here. Or the pit party full restart. I think the spoiler on Chris Champo's truck says it all. It's pucker time. Oh, it's the 5. Mark Pentecoff in defense. Oh, there's more drama in the back there. More death, more destruction. As we now have just over 4 minutes left to go on practice. There's James Watson in the 39 car. Oh, lots of people getting loose, including the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Center punched the inside wall. He got loose after Thomas Harmon got loose. There's Kyle Kraus in the 60 to 24, Frank Isaacson. I think Kyle got a little bit loose there as well. He almost hit Frank. It looks like for the most part, some of these guys definitely starting to get a hang of the looseness. Although we'll have to wait and see for the race start to see how that's actually going to go. Brian Pizzakemi gets very loose, goes for a trip through the grass. And I think he's just going to go straight to his pit box from there. Yep, he does. Good stop. Oh, Kyle Kraus has gone around. People taking evasive action and getting loose themselves. Chris Champo, oh, just ahead of him. Touch between the 50 and the 88 of Bud and Hernandez, respectively. Hernandez is hoping that this is the way that the battle's going to go. That they're going to be having a nice, close, hard, fast battle. Pretty sure Christian Bud will actually honestly be hoping for the same thing. I think he gets bored out there in front by himself all the time. The 2 of Chris Champo just looming there in the background. Kyle Kraus also just came out of the pits. Made things a little bit awkward for the 2 at the front. Kyle Kraus and the 2 of Chris Champo. Kraus waiting for his size to come up to temperature a little bit more, trying to run the extreme outside line. It worked out a little bit for him, but not really all that much. I saw someone going around in the background. I know who that was. Oh, and there's a touch for the leaders. And all 4 of them involved. Oh, Thomas Harmon got involved in that one at the last second. There's Jonathan Hernandez flipping along, making a mess of Jaren's space on the back of his truck. But with that, guys, we're in the final minute of practice, which means very shortly here we are going to go to a commercial break so these guys can go and qualify. And when we come back, we'll see how the order stacks up after these guys put down their couple of hot laps. See Mark Pentecoff sitting there in the pits. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action here from the Autism Awareness 154 coming your way. Alrighty, guys, we are back. And the grid has been set here for the Autism Awareness 154 from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Sitting on pole for this race, no surprise at all, is going to be the 50 of Christian Budd. On his outside is going to be the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. And starting out of P3 will be the 2 of Chris Champeau, as some of the drivers starting to load into the track. Starting out P4 will be the 38 of Thomas Harmon. P5 is going to be the 60 of Kyle Kraus with the 12 of Matt Burgess on his outside. The 15 of Ken Campbell will be out of P7 with the 23 of John Lizelle out of P8. P9 will be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez with the 39 of James Watson out of P10. Then we're going to have Travis Massier, James Lindau, Mark Pentecoff, Frank Isaacson, Matt Horton, Brian Pizzicami, Sam Niederhelm, and Jonas Marquez wrapping up your 18-car field. With all 18 cars plus myself, strength of field is a 27-12. And we're here for 100 laps. Just waiting on everyone to get on the grid so we can get the pace lap rolling. And here we go. Slightly smaller field than usual tonight, but that's alright, because we have 18 of some of the best drivers that we could find, and well, maybe like 5 of the best drivers that we could find, and a couple of plebs. Everyone else, yeah, alright. And 1 alien. Now remember, the big factors for this race is going to be the looseness into the corners, especially early laps. It's always going to be difficult. Also the draft. Not many people have been doing too much drafting with each other in the race, so we don't know how that's going to handle for the trucks. The other thing they have to keep an eye on is that 50, because he's pretty damn quick. The pace car is off. First starters on green, all the restarts on the leader, and we're off and racing. Wheel spin is another thing we have to keep an eye on, but it looks like at the moment at least the top 4 got through fairly unscathed. And Christian Budd is going to take the lead into turn 1. Jaron Sanchez is going to slot into the 2nd position there, as Thomas Harmon has slotted into 3rd, Chris Champeau in 4th. And so far so good, everyone has made it through. There's a 12 of Matt Burgess who was trying to make a move on the 2 of Chris Champeau. And it doesn't quite look like he quite had the legs there. Also see the 15 of Ken Campbell trying to make a move around the outside of Jonathan Hernandez. Of course, Jonathan Hernandez running with the 2 pictures of Jaron and his puppy on the back of that truck. And still so far so good for all the drivers in this race. John Lizelle now looking to make a move on the 60 car. Looks like he's got that done. Kyle Kraus just starting to fall back here a little bit, as Jonathan Hernandez is looking to make a move there as well. It looks like we've already got 1 car falling off the back of the pack. That is the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. Ooh, heavy right side damage on that truck. So he's gotten loose and tasted the wall at some point. Back to Kyle Kraus. It looks like he has slotted into position now. He's in P8. We also see the 13 of Travis Massier trying to make a move on James Watson. Watson holding on fairly strong there on that outside lane. And that could be a battle that lasts a little bit here. We're going to go back up to the front of the field. 50 of Christian Budd has not run away from the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. This is one of Sanchez's better tracks. So we'll have to wait and see what he can do in this race. Coming out of turn 2. And you see that a big move being made by the 2 of Chris Champeau on Thomas Harmon. Oh, the 2 got a little bit loose down there in 1 and 2. Balls back to 4th. Thomas Harmon looking like he's going to try and start make a move on the 4 of Jaron Sanchez here. Sanchez got a little bit loose and slipped up a little bit then. Harmon still just looming there in the background, waiting for the moment where Sanchez slips up. And he's got that move made now. That's going to be Thomas Harmon up into P2. Sanchez down to 3. So Sanchez trying to battle back on the outside line. And Sanchez unable to do so. Also looking at the background there, 78 of Brian Pizzicami trying to make some moves of his own, getting up to the inside of James Watson. That's now going to be Pizzicami up into the top 10. Oh, Watson actually almost clouting the wall there in a tri-oval. Oh, now Watson getting loose. Just in front of Travis Massier there. He was lucky. Massier was far enough back that he didn't tap him around. It's just in front of John Lozelle looking to make a move now as well on the 15 of Ken Campbell. Battling happening everywhere. I'm pretty sure there's even a couple battles going on at the front. And there is. You see the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez there trying to make a move on Matt Burgess, while the 4 of Jaron Sanchez trying to hold on to 3rd over the 2 of Chris Champeau. He doesn't get to do so. Definitely a very racetrack we have here for us today. These trucks being so loose around here. And Hernandez now finds himself into the top 5. You see Jaron Sanchez still trying to look for a way back around the 60 and the 2. Oh, sorry, the 38 and the 2. And up on the inside of the 2 he goes. That's the 2 of Chris Champeau. It doesn't look like he quite has the run coming out of turn 2 to be able to do it. And he can't make anything work of it out of 3 either. As we are now 12 laps in the books. There's still a long way to go in this race. Sanchez still just trying to find a way around that 2 car with Chris Champeau. But Sanchez wants to be careful here. He's got Hernandez right on his tail. We know how good Hernandez is in a racing standpoint. I just noticed that Sanchez running the Toyota here today. That's not like him. He's usually running a Ford. And he is actually the only Toyota in the top 14. It looks like something has happened to James Watson in the 39 car. And yep, he's got some right side damage. That's why he's fallen off the pace. Let's go have a look at Sam Niederhelm, who's in front of him. Got two of the Autism Awareness cars just in front. The 24 Frank Isaacson and the 64 Jonas Marquez. In fact, Frank just getting a little bit loose there coming out of turn 2. But damn, don't those chrome bumpers look good. Oh no. Jonas Marquez in the 64. Hitting the wall there on the entry to 3. Let's go back and have a look at our leaders. The battle is still on between Sanchez and Champeau. See that higher line starting to come into it now, as Sanchez getting a little bit loose on that inside. Yeah, a lot of drivers running the mid to high line in 1 and 2, not so much in 3 and 4. Although you can see Sanchez getting a loose there, while the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez trying to get right up to his bumper, trying to take that air off the spoiler. We gave him a little bit of a love tap going into 1 and 2. Might not have been much, just a little smooch. You can tell these drivers are absolutely on edge. So they come out of turn 4. We've just had a visitor come into the chat, a previous Output Racing League member, Aaron Beauvoir. That's not how you say it, but that's how I'm going to say it. Oh, it's the 2 of Chris Champeau trying to make a move on Thomas Harmon. Got loose there, somehow managing to slot back into 3rd. That's got to frustrate the 4 of Jaron Sanchez a little bit. Jonathan Hernandez almost made a move on Sanchez as well. And Thomas Harmon under pressure again from the 2 of Champeau. Harmon really liking that super high line. Same too with the 50 of Christian Budd, who, contrary to popular belief, has not been able to just pull away from the field tonight. That's crazy. Chris Champeau slid a little bit up the track there in 3 and 4. Not going to be so easy for him to just slot in front of Sanchez this time. So he's got to stick in with it on the bottom. Hernandez now trying to look to the outside of Sanchez as well. Well, Sanchez is... Oh, they've gone 3 wide coming off a 2. Close quarters racing. Sanchez decides to pull out of it. And Chris Champeau is still well and truly in that fight with Thomas Harmon. But that was almost a really good situation for Jaron Sanchez with them being 3 wide like that. Because the 2 of Chris Champeau really squeezed Harmon up towards the wall. 88 of Jonathan Hernandez probably would have been affected by that as well. As this time Sanchez gets loose on the low line. The 2 of Chris Champeau finally, after what feels like 15 laps, makes that move stick. It was probably only about 6 laps, but it felt like more. Because now Harmon trying to fight back on the inside of the 2 of Chris Champeau. It gets loose. He's been running the high line for so long, he doesn't know how to run the low line. And he has lost out big time. That's now Jonathan Hernandez up into 3rd. Jaron Sanchez, the big loser, going from 4th to P6. After putting in all that work, all that effort to try and hold on to his top 3. And it did not work out. You see the 12 of Matt Burgess getting a little bit loose there as well. 4 of Sanchez trying to get right up on the bumper of Thomas Harmon. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to stick in with this racing action and wait for either a caution or green flag pit stops. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Autism Awareness 154 here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel, and we've been continuing to watch this battle between the 4 of Jaron Sanchez and the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Sanchez definitely still feeling a little bit bitter that he got dropped backwards so quickly after Harmon made that one little mistake. Been battling with him side by side for a few laps. We just seen Sanchez get loose there coming out of turn 2, and that's made him drop the position here. Just about dropping the position to the 60 of Kyle Kraus. As Thomas Harmon trying to make a move up the inside of the 12 of Matt Burgess. Thinks better of it, pulls back in behind. You can tell Thomas Harmon's favoured line right now is right along the high line, where he's feeling the most comfortable at the minute. And Kyle Kraus now up into P6, Sanchez down into 7th. And it looks like everyone's starting to get a little bit loose now. Because here comes the 60 of Kraus now, trying to make a move on Harmon after he got loose coming out of turn 2. Harmon too strong for Kraus on that occasion. Jaron Sanchez now trying to make a move on the outside of Kraus as well. There's the 12 of Matt Burgess trying to make a move on Hernandez. That is the battle for 3rd. See what these guys can do. Side by side they go, and it looks like Hernandez still just holding on to the 3rd position at the moment. Just about contact there coming off turn 2. It looks like in the background, Sanchez did get back around Kyle Kraus to get back into P6. The field has started to string out a lot. And here comes Matt Burgess again to the inside of Hernandez. As I said, these two battling it out for the 3rd position right now. Well, Thomas Harmon got loose again. That's provided an opening for the 4 of Sanchez to take the outside line around him. As the 50 of Christian Budd has started to pull away now. Got quite a handy lead, about 3 seconds over Chris Champeau in P2. And Sanchez now back up into the top 5 and finally in front of Thomas Harmon. Now let's see what Sanchez can do now that he's gotten past Harmon. Next person that he's got to try and get around is now the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. After Matt Burgess made the move stick for 3rd. Looks like Hernandez might just be struggling here a little bit. Very possibly burnt his tyres up earlier in the run. .60 of Kyle Kraus trying to insert himself into this battle as well to try and take 6th away from Thomas Harmon. Oh, very close quarters coming out of turn 2. It's going to give Sanchez the inside run here on Hernandez, who was also trying to get another run back on Matt Burgess. It's definitely close quarters racing right now. There was almost contact between Sanchez and Hernandez coming out of turn 2. See what it's like this time. Oh, no contact this time, but Hernandez was looking a little bit loose there coming out of turn 2. Just walked the truck up the track a little bit, and that has given an opening here to Sanchez to try and make the move stick. It looked like he was loose again then. Oh, how's that for just clear? There was not even a cigarette paper in between those two just then. That is as close as you can get it. But Sanchez happily taking on 4th position now as they go 3 wide for the 5th position. That's gone back down to 2 by 2 now. And Sanchez trying to work over his rival in Matt Burgess. These two have a long and storied history here in the Output Racing League. And they have made contact on several occasions. As the battle is still on behind these two, between Harmon and Hernandez. Hernandez falling back now. Looks like Kyle Kraus is even going to get him here. And he has. Hernandez gotten a little bit loose there. And now drops down to P7. Let's keep an eye on the 4 and 12 here. Sanchez and Matt Burgess. Because very shortly these guys are going to be in some lap traffic. But they also got to try and chase down that 2 of Chris Champeau and then maybe, possibly, try and chase down the 50 of Christian Budd. Although that might be a little bit of a pipe dream because Christian Budd is just too damn good everywhere. But I noticed that he's not as dominating here as what he'd probably like to be. Because a lot of guys really like racing around here. Sanchez especially. And Sanchez and Matt Burgess had very similar lap times on that last lap. They 33.357 for Burgess and a 33.375 for Sanchez. So how's that for lap times? But Sanchez still working feverishly on the tail of that 12 truck. They have actually pulled away from Thomas Harmon here very slightly. And I would even say they've probably been reeling in the 2 of Chris Champeau here a little bit as well. As Chris Champeau catches up to the first of the lapped cars, who is the 39 of James Watson. Unfortunate that James Watson is so far back. He had so much pace in practice and qualifying. And looks like it's just all come undone for him. He's probably just hoping on a caution. That way he can get his lap back. These two continue to battle away. It looks like Watson is going to try and stay on the higher line here. Make the leaders pass him on the low side. Is exactly what's going on. So no one really getting held up there by Watson. Although that might change here on the front stretch with the tri-oval. And that doesn't look to be so at all actually, so I'm telling fibs. Now Thomas Harmon trying to catch back up to the tail of Sanchez here. Wants to make a battle out of it. Kyle Kraus just illuminating in the background. Hernandez falling off the back of this pack. So he's definitely burnt up his tyres ever so slightly. Go see if we can see another battle on the field. These guys aren't battling. I thought they might have been. Their dots look closer than they thought. Oh, the 78, Brian Pizzicami. Very loose there coming out of turn 2. Oh, so too Matt Horton behind him. I think we're probably not very far away from some green flag stops. But this is the closest battle on the track right now. The 12 of Matt Burgess, the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Jaron Sanchez lost 2 positions since the start of this race. Matt Burgess gaining 3. The biggest mover right now, Sam Niederhelm, plus 7 for the race so far. When we come across the line, we'll have 44 laps complete. Means just 56 to go here for the Autism Awareness 154. And looks like Sanchez just not able to really battle 12 of Matt Burgess like he was able to with everyone else beforehand. Possibly running towards the end of his tyre life here. I also saw in the background there, Jonathan Hernandez drifting out of turn 2. So his tyres are probably just about at their end as well. As Matt Burgess has turned up the wick a little bit, pulled away from Sanchez ever so slightly, as we're about to encounter some more lap traffic. Like Jonas Marquez, in fact, Christian Budd lost a lot of his gap that he had built. It's down to 1.3 seconds now. Does Budd have damage, possibly? No, he doesn't. At least not that I can see. Could just be that he got a little bit caught up with battling the lap traffic there a little bit. But he's definitely lost quite a bit of time to everyone else. Only a 1 second gap back to Chris Champeau now, as John Lozelle has come into the pits. And there's the 60 Kyle Kraus. He's put himself into this battle. In fact, Jaron Sanchez losing out here. Not just 4th, but 5th as well. And he's just been shuffled back to P6. He might have had a little bit of a drift and lost those positions. Kyle Kraus looking pretty strong right now. Might end up battling Thomas Harmon here for the 4th position. Not going to do it this time though, as they catch up to the lap down car of Jonas Marquez, sponsor for today's race. And it looks like the 60 of Kyle Kraus actually got a little bit balked there by the lap traffic. Sanchez almost was able to battle back on him. And Ken Campbell has gotten around Jonathan Hernandez for 7th. Just for an update there. Oh, and the gap has definitely come down between our leader and P2, Christian Budd and Chris Champeau. And Chris Champeau coming into the pits this time. Christian Budd is going to lead another lap. In fact, Christian Budd slowing down big time. Matt Burgess has just gotten around him. Everyone's going around him. Something going wrong for Christian Budd. Sounds like he's got no engine. He definitely does have engine. He might be out of fuel. Sounds like he was pushing the limit too hard and he might be out of fuel. As pit stops galore happening right now. Matt Burgess leading the way. Kyle Kraus in P2, but they've now come into the pits. Or just for Matt Burgess. Let's see. 66 Niederhelm, he's coming in. Lindau, the 91, he's coming in. So everyone has come into the pits now. And Matt Burgess got leader lap points. Go check out the 38 of Thomas Harmon, as he has just shuffled his way into the lead. Though Chris Champeau being out there for a lap longer might have slightly fresher tyres. So this is your battle for the lead right now, Thomas Harmon and Chris Champeau. And I'm waiting to see where Christian Budd's going to shuffle out in everything. Looks like at the moment he is in P5. As the two of Chris Champeau now going to try and make a move to the inside and turn 3 of Thomas Harmon for the lead. Very close quarters battling, and it looks like Harmon just leads that lap. The 12 of Matt Burgess starts rolling back out onto the track. And he's actually lost a lap in all that. He might have had a penalty for pit entry. But Chris Champeau is still battling hard with Thomas Harmon. And now Chris Champeau leads the lap, as they're still side by side. They've been side by side here for a couple of laps now. Just a show of how dedicated these guys are and how hard they're going to race each other. Harmon getting a good run out of turn 2 that time. But going into the corners, the two of Chris Champeau has him covered quite nicely, as they're about to come up towards two side-by-side lap down cars of Brian Pizzakemi and Frank Isaacson. Jonas Marquez back into the pits. And Thomas Harmon retakes the lead as they get around one of the lap cars, and just Pizzakemi getting out of the way for the leaders in time. But Pizzakemi's also had a trip into the fence at some point with that right side damage that he's got on the car. But our top three definitely having a good, hard, close battle. And Christian Budd is just sitting back in fourth, as now another move on for the lead here. Christian Budd actually battling it out with Jonathan Hernandez for that fourth position. It looks like they're just nose to tail back there, but we got the battle up here for the lead. The two of Chris Champeau trying to make that inside line work once more on Thomas Harmon. And that time Chris Champeau leads the lap. Pucker time in full force right now, as Chris Champeau just clears Thomas Harmon. Oh, but he gets into the fence. He got into the fence. That's going to give the lead back to Thomas Harmon. P2 is going to go the way of Sanchez, who had to go to the apron to avoid getting into Thomas Harmon. That is very unfortunate for Chris Champeau, who will now have a little bit of that right side damage. But he is still pushing hard behind Sanchez. He hasn't given up on the back of Sanchez here just yet. But just looming here in the background, there is the 50 and the 88. Christian Budd and Jonathan Hernandez. As it looks like these two just playing nicely right now. Also appears that these three at the front, not exactly in the battling mood as it stands. They also got the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi right there with them, who is not exactly falling back, even though he's a lap down. Looks like he wants to try and stay with him, just in case a caution comes out so he can get the lucky dog. Very smart moves there from the 78 of Pizzacami. In fact, it would appear that he's probably got a little bit more pace over to the 2 of Chris Champeau, who was very loose coming out of turn 2 that time. Possibly because the air was coming off his spoiler from that 78 of Pizzacami. But here comes Christian Budd and Jonathan Hernandez now. They are very quickly catching up to these two drivers ahead of them. And to the inside goes Budd on the lap down car of Pizzacami. And in turn, to the inside of the 2 of Chris Champeau, Hernandez is going to go with him. In fact, Hernandez almost had his nose up on the inside of Christian Budd coming into turn 3. Going to be Chris Champeau back down to P5 now, as the 50 and the 88 slowly start catching our 2 leaders of Thomas Harmon and Jaron Sanchez. Now this is the kind of racing that we wanted to see. As now going into turn 3, Sanchez looking for a move on the inside of Harmon. As I said, this is one of Sanchez's stronger tracks. Didn't quite get the overlap this time. And Sanchez just falling in behind Harmon that time. It's now less than a second between Sanchez and Christian Budd. It's sitting at about 7 tenths, 8 tenths. Again to the inside looks Sanchez. It doesn't look like he's going to get an overlap this time. But he's definitely trying to push that truck very hard. I didn't know fuel mileage was going to become a part of this race, but apparently it is. As they're starting to catch up to the lap down cars of Watson and Lazelle. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break this time. When we come back, we'll be going to either a yellow flag or the checkered, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Autism Awareness 154 here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway, live and exclusive on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And as you can see, our 2 leaders have just caught up to the lap traffic of Watson and Lazelle. Sanchez tried making a couple moves on Harmon as we were off in the commercial break, couldn't get anything to stick. And Christian Budd still still just looming there in the background, half a second back now. He hasn't really been gaining too terribly quickly here on the 4 and the 38, but he is right there. So too the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Although they might be getting a little bit balked here by the lap traffic. Hernandez actually slipping up between the two lap cars there just to get a little bit of extra draft. Which is pretty smart actually, honestly. But Chris Champeau is in the pits. That is unfortunate for Chris. It looks like he just couldn't keep running with the damage that he had on that car. And he has now gone a lap down. He's down in P10. 1 lap down. In fact, now down to 11th as Frank Isaacson has gotten around him. That's going to bring Kyle Kraus up into P5 now. So we only have 9 cars left on the lead lap. Matt Horton, the last of which in the 33. He is the last car on the lead lap. Frank Isaacson in the 24, currently first car 1 lap down. So if a caution was to come out, he would be the recipient of the lucky dog. As it looks like Christian Budd really does not have anything here for Harmon or Sanchez. As Sanchez now looking back to the inside in turns 3 and 4, trying to make a move on Harmon. And I think he's got it done. He does. He has the move made. We have a new leader. It is the 4 of Jaron Sanchez this time. I imagine if his wife was watching, she would be going absolutely ecstatic in chat. Because that is leader lap bonus points there for Jaron Sanchez this time. And we know the level of driving Sanchez usually does around here is of a very high caliber. As I said, this is one of his favorite tracks, as he always does well here. And he is currently leading the way in front of Thomas Harmon and Christian Budd and Jonathan Hernandez, who is in 4th. Christian Budd does have the fastest lap of the race, so it's a 31.508. Pretty sure he set that very early in the running. We'll have to go and double check that, make sure. Jonathan Hernandez has gained 5 positions from where he started, which was P9, currently in P4. We'll see if he can hold on to it. Frank Isaacson actually gained 5 as well from where he started. He started P14. Chris Champeau has lost 7. Being the second car 1 lap down now. But let's see what Thomas Harmon can do to try and hold off from the charge coming from Christian Budd this time. I think Harmon might have burnt up his tyres a little bit trying to hold off Jaron Sanchez. This is why he doesn't really have much to fight with right now. As we're now 74 laps in the books. On the next lap, there will be just 25 laps to go. 1/4 of the race left. As it stands, it's 1/4 and 1/2 lap. Let's go on board with the 50 car of Christian Budd. We'll go to his gyro cam this time instead of the helmet cam that we had on before. And he definitely doesn't look like he's exactly gaining here on Thomas Harmon. Thomas is struggling a little bit by the looks of things with grip, but he's not struggling too much. Harmon pulling away there on the back straight a little bit from Christian Budd. It's crazy to see. See the hands at work there for the 50 of Christian Budd. Go back to the outside view. Let's note a little bit more on our league owner and operator, Jaron Sanchez, leading the way. Pretty sure these are the first laps led for Sanchez in a very long time. At least when it wasn't down to a pit strategy call, which left him out there long. And Sanchez only has a couple of victories here in the Output Racing League, hoping to add another one to his name. And if he does, then he's going to be one of the first people to actually beat Christian Budd outright. Because it's not generally something that happens, especially not lately. And Christian Budd has just been absolutely on form every single race that he enters. As he crosses the line this time, 21 laps left to run in this race. And he has half a second over Thomas Harmon. I think the pressure is starting to come off a little bit. But he can't be taking it too easy. He should be saving his tyres just ever so slightly, just in case he has to battle with one of the two drivers behind him towards the end of the race. It's possibly something Thomas Harmon is doing, but doubtful. As now Chris Champeau has moved his way up into P9. First car 1 lap down. Matt Burgess in 10th, second car 1 lap down. And Harmon started to close the gap a little bit now on Jaron Sanchez. Down to 0.3 of a second. And that is Harmon closing the gap, not Sanchez slowing down. Harmon right there with Sanchez now. Gonna go have a look at the back of the Sanchez car at the charging Thomas Harmon. Christian Budd sitting at about the same spot behind where he has been this entire time. As I said, this is the kind of racing that we wanted. Close, hard, fast battle for the lead. I'm just admiring this view coming out of the back of the Sanchez machine. And I'm going to be so bitterly disappointed if a caution were to come out right now. Because everyone would pit for tyres, I would assume. And it would just ruin the race here a little bit. As there is Harmon now, looking to the inside of Sanchez. Go back to the outside view. We can keep an eye on this battle from our cameras pointed around the track. Sanchez is doing everything he can to hold off Thomas Harmon right now. Hernandez has dropped right off the back of the 50 of Christian Budd. Still holding on to fourth though. But Got about 2.5 seconds back to Kyle Kraus in 5th. Sanchez, got a little bit unsettled there coming out of turn 2. I think he knows that Thomas is right there behind him. Still choosing to run the higher line though. I thought he would have started to run the lower line to try and block a little bit. But he should know he made the pass on the inside line of Thomas Harmon. Maybe Sanchez is just silently hoping for a caution here, that he can maintain the lead. Though Thomas Harmon definitely fighting hard on the inside of turn 2. Harmon got a little bit unsettled there. Has to drop back in behind Sanchez. Christian Budd starting to creep up on these two now as well. Harmon goes to the inside of 3 and 4. Sanchez still with the advantage. 12 laps to go. Can Sanchez hold off Harmon and Budd? Or will Harmon come up and take the lead back? And can Christian Budd go from 3rd to the win here in the final few laps? All those questions will be answered here very shortly. Thomas Harmon definitely driving very hard, trying to make something stick on the inside of the 4 of Sanchez. And this time Sanchez slips up a little bit high on the track on exit. Harmon is right there. Sanchez still leads that lap. But Harmon now takes the lead back going into 1 and 2. He's going to slide up and be easily in the lead. But Sanchez trying to use that momentum to his advantage from running the high line. Got Christian Budd in behind as well. As I said, he's just been slowly creeping up on these two. 10 laps to go this time. And it looks like Harmon spent those few laps that Sanchez was in the lead just saving his tyres ever so slightly. Christian Budd in the 50 trying to use the draft off of Sanchez for his advantage. He might look for a move here in turn 3. And I didn't think he was going to do it for a second. Looked like a very wide arc into the bottom of 3. Sanchez running a very high line there. But Sanchez uses the momentum to pull away from Christian Budd here ever so slightly. And in fact, he also used it to close up on Thomas Harmon a little bit. All 3 of them running the high line now. And Sanchez looked like he might have gotten a little bit loose. Not much. Like, not enough that it halted his momentum any, but just enough that it stopped him from trying to make a move. As Christian Budd looks like he's kind of got nowhere to go at the minute. Kind of just sitting there waiting out, biding his time. As now he goes to the inside of Sanchez through 1 and 2. Sanchez trying to use the momentum on top, and he gets there. Thomas Harmon also went to the bottom that time. And here comes Sanchez trying to make a move into turn 3 on Harmon. He just gets his nose ahead. Can he get the rest of himself ahead? We'll have to wait and see, as it looks like Harmon fighting back hard on the outside. Side by side they go along the front stretch here. Just about a dead heat, but I think Harmon had it at the line that time. Into 1 and 2 we go again. Sanchez running a higher line than Harmon was on the bottom, forcing Harmon up to the extreme outside. Close quarters as they come off the corner. Harmon's going to have the momentum. Sanchez just going to slip in behind him now, back into P2. And holding off Christian Budd, who's still just looming there in 3rd. And Kyle Kraus has been slowly catching up to Jonathan Hernandez here. He's also been going just slightly faster than our leaders at the moment, as he's just been ever so slightly catching up to them, but not enough to really be a threat here in the final few laps. As Christian Budd goes back down to the inside in 1 and 2. Well, it looked like Thomas Harmon just about hit the wall a little bit coming off turn 2 that time. Christian Budd looking like he wants to try and make his move on Sanchez here very shortly. 5 to go at the line. And Christian Budd unable to make that inside line of 3 and 4 work. 5 to go. Who is going to take out the Autism Awareness 154 here from Atlanta? This is the most exciting race that we've had in a very long time. As all these guys are on very old tyres, they're all pushing them to the absolute limit. Those right rears will be just about dead. 4 to go this time. And it looks like Christian Budd has lost whatever tyre life he had now. He's dropping off from the back of Sanchez here a little bit. 3 laps to go. What can Sanchez do now that he doesn't have to worry about Christian Budd so much? They do have to worry about Mark Pentecoff just in front though. The lap down with the right side damage. Harmon trying to draft off of Mark here a little bit as well. Mark running the middle line here in 3 and 4. Which is the line that Sanchez has been running. And Sanchez running the higher line than Thomas Harmon. 2 to go this time. And they're going to get around Mark Pentecoff this time. Pentecoff going to the high line to allow Thomas Harmon through. And, oh, Mark got very loose there and got out of the way of the other 2 drivers behind. It probably would have made Sanchez's heart skip a beat there for a second. As here we go, white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for Thomas Harmon. The battle is still on for 2nd and 3rd though. In fact, the battle is still on for all of these positions as Christian Budd diving to the inside of Jaron Sanchez, trying to take 2nd place away. He's not going to do so this time. He's going to have to try and do it in 3 and 4. Sanchez with the momentum and the draft pulling in front of him as they come out of turn 4 for the final time. The winner of the Autism Awareness 154 here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's going to be Thomas Harmon with Jaron Sanchez P2 and Christian Budd in P3. 4th place is going to go the way of Kyle Kraus, who just got around the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, who is going to finish in 5th. That was a very close battle for that entire last half of the race. All these 3 drivers should be absolutely proud of themselves. That was a good, hard, fast battle. And it was so close for the entire time after that pit stop cycle. We're going to go see Thomas Harmon doing some victory celebrations here. There he goes over the O'Reilly sign, the Bass Pro Shop sign, and over the Atlanta lettering. There you go, your winner here at Atlanta, Thomas Harmon. I think he just conked out of fuel. So we're going to go to driver interviews now. When we come back, we'll start talking to some people. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, we are back, and it is time for the Viagra Hard Charger Award. And today's hard charger is going to be the 91 of Mr. James Lindau, starting in, what was it, 12th and finishing in 7th there for a gain of 5. James, how do you feel first and foremost, man, for winning the hard charger award, and how was that race for you?
I don't think I've ever been as hard as I am now. It was a fun race. It definitely a little bit of patience, but the leaders were just on another level. They were coming and they were coming quick. So stayed in the back, saved tires, remained patient, and ended up with a good finish.
Oh, you managed to stay on the lead lap there, which is more than what quite a few people could say in this race. So how was just dealing with the fact that this was going green the whole way, how loose the trucks were on fresh tires?
Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time in practice, kind of pushing the limits of the truck, and I probably wrecked 20 times just running around practicing for it. And by the time we got to racing, kind of had a good feel for where the break point was. Got loose a few times coming off of two, but overall, truck handled well. Kind of like I said, kind of knew its limits and came away with a good finish.
Now let's talk about trying to size yourself up for the green flag stop. How close was it on fuel, making it to halfway point? And then how was the pit entry like for yourself?
Yeah, I was probably one of the best on fuel. I think I pit with on lap 52, so I think I was one of the last ones to come in. Um, and part of that was just saving the whole time. Kind of stayed aware of the fact that the last 4 or 5 races that I've done here have all come down to fuel mileage and have gone green the whole time. So just kind of staying aware of that and putting myself in that type of position to capitalize on it at the end.
All right, man. Now let's fast forward to next week. Once I get the right window up. Next week we are going to be heading to. It says Myrtle Beach in the schedule, but I think we might be putting that up to a vote. So it's either going to be Myrtle Beach or Nashville Super Speedway. So how's it feeling like for you for both tracks?
Yeah, I'm really hoping it's Nashville. I'm a Tennessee boy, so Nashville's a home track and somewhere that I've been able to run laps around and in an actual stock car before and had a blast. So um, it'll be a great time if we have that next week. If it's Myrtle Beach, I've run a limited amount of races there, but I'm sure it'll be fun too.
All right, man. Before we let you go here tonight, do you have any shout outs you got to do here tonight?
Yeah, throwback got FedEx on the hood. Their hometown company. Looked up to them for a long time, and it's awesome that they're so involved with my community back home in Memphis. So, I think this paint's here to stay. I think they look good on the truck, and I look forward to scoring a win with them.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, James. And, congratulations on the Viagra Hard Charger Award. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
All right, Corey. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was our Hard Charger Award winner here for today, James Lindau. And decent finish for him in P7 there. Coming up next, we're going to have the guy that we talked to a very, very, very lot. But we're used to talking to him last. This time, we get to talk to him second. Of course, going to be the 50 car of Mr. Christian Budd. Christian, this is the first time in a very, very long time where I've talked to you and it hasn't been for a win.
Yeah, unfortunately, the way the fuel mileage played out today didn't really work out for me. So, yeah, I said save fuel the whole time. Didn't really save any on the first run. Didn't realize. Thought I was going to be able to make it, and at the very end of that run, kind of realized that I wasn't, and then lost a bunch of track position. Ran out of gas on pit road. And had to drive back up to the guys leading, Thomas and Jaron, but use a bunch of gas getting back up there, and by the time it was time to go, there just wasn't enough time to to be able to do anything.
Yeah, it looked like it became a very strategy kind of battle there at the end of the race, trying to figure out who's got the better tires and where the move is going to get made. How difficult was it to try and make a move, especially towards the end of the tire run there?
Well, the problem was is that if you were in a position where you had to save gas, you were just trying to draft. So that whole run, I was just kind of riding behind Thomas or Jaron or whoever was in second. Just wanted to kind of sit there. Um, and then when it came time to make the move, unfortunately, with the way they've got Atlanta gripped up right now, you can't pass on the bottom. There's just not enough down there to do anything. So I tried a few times to get underneath Jaron, and just there's just no way to get off the corner and actually beat him off the corner. So kind of stuck. Just kind of had to ride in line, hope they ran out of gas, and unfortunately for me, they did not. Good for them, but it's the way it played out today.
Now let's look forward to next week. I think we're putting it up to a vote, but it's either going to be Myrtle Beach or the Nashville Super Speedway. So what's the feeling like for you for both those tracks, especially Nashville being a newer track that not many people have experience at?
Well, it's going to be brand new for me because I don't even own it yet. So I haven't attempted to turn any laps there. Last time I turned a lap on a track called Nashville was probably about 11 years ago in ARCA sim racing, and it's probably not going to translate. So we'll just have to see. It's a track that's typically a bit of a driver's track, from what I remember, from what I've heard. So hopefully it'll be about throttle control and who can drive the best.
All right, so we know that you're a Twitch streamer, and we know that you got a couple of shout outs that you got to do here tonight. So, who you got to shout out, and what is the link to your Twitch channel?
Of course, Smith Sim Racing team guys. Got a big race this week here at Dover coming up, so everybody's been kind of working hard here and trying to get sets together. Um, and then Aussie Sim commentator for broadcasting our output races, which are always fun to watch. And of course, Output Racing and all the guys who show up every week make it fun to race here. And Twitch channel here, twitch.tv/Christian Bud, and check it out for the driver's seat.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Christian. Unfortunately, not a win, but still, congratulations on a solid top three, man. And hopefully, another interview coming your way again next week.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, that was the 50th Christian Bud for the first time in what feels like ever, coming in third. Coming up next, man, who we always love to talk to, and he came away with a second place at one of his better tracks. Of course, we're talking to the league owner and operator, the four of Jaron Sanchez. Jaron, you led laps legitimately. It wasn't down to pit strategy, and you beat Christian Bud.
Well, I don't know what really happened with Christian Bud, but I feel like he could have still won that race. But yeah, kind of, it's cool running hard and getting a second place, but at the same time, I felt like I could have won that race. But maybe shouldn't have let Thomas get the pass me the way he did, kind of do like a slide job thing. But I just couldn't recover from that. But a lot of fuel saving was out there too. But I was good till the end. I ran out after the finish, but it was fun. But yeah, I feel like I could have won that race. Sucks.
It definitely looked like a very hard fought race all the way through. And I can tell you that Christian actually ran out of fuel in the first half of the race coming into the pits. He ran out of fuel in the pits, so he lost quite a few positions on track then. But it definitely looked like you know this is just your kind of a track, Atlanta, because no matter what car we're in, you always seem to do well around here.
Yeah, this is definitely my favorite track. Probably this in Vegas and the mile and a halfs. I just like them, but specifically Atlanta, I don't know why. It's just I got my first win ever on iRacing at Atlanta in the B car like 3 years ago. So
It's just naturally he's been one of my favorite tracks. I don't know why, but yeah, lost to Thomas in good old fashioned Thomas Harmon fashion. But it felt good to run with the best out there because it's really hard. It's really hard to keep up with those guys. So it's cool to be able to be up there and mixing it up and being in the top 3 in standings, I think. So pretty excited about this season so far.
All right, now let's look forward to next week. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a vote on whether it's going to be Myrtle Beach or Nashville. So, what's the feeling like for you with the possibility of going to either one of those tracks?
Um, both those tracks I would have to purchase, so never ran at them before. Um, I really want to check out Nashville, and I'm not that great at short tracks, and short tracks usually equal carnage. So I don't know. I'm gonna let the league vote on it. Either way, I'm down for whatever. I don't really have a preference, but I probably will be better at Nashville next week rather than Myrtle Beach. So that'll probably factor into my vote.
All right, now we know that you're a sometimes Twitch streamer, and we know that you got a few shout outs you got to handle here tonight. So, first, let's get a shout out to your Twitch channel and any other shout outs you got after that.
It's Twitch TV, Jaren_S, and just want to give a shout out to all the drivers and you know um, anybody that watches, and you for doing the broadcast. Always do a good job, and I appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Joan. Thank you for putting the league on.
All right,
We look forward to seeing what you can do
thanks,
next week.
You have a good night. Thank you.
All right, guys, so that was our second place getter, Mr. Jaron Sanchez, league owner and operator. You can tell he was over the moon with being at the front there. Disappointed he didn't get the win, though, which is very understandable. But coming up next, we're talking to the person who did get the win. And for the first time in a long time, he's sitting on the top set of the podium. Or, of course, talking to the 38 car of Mr. Thomas Harmon. Thomas, average first half of the race there. Looked like you had to battle back from falling down a little bit. But what a way to finish the race, being in a battle with yourself and Jaron, like the entire second half of that race.
Yeah, I roasted the right rear really quick on that first run, and it kind of killed me. So the second run I had to take it a little bit more easy, but I also had to save some fuel, and that allowed me and Jaron to duke it out pretty much the whole time, and then Christian to get up into the mix. Yeah, it was a fun race. Just wish we could have went all out, but it happens. Fuel strategy happens.
It definitely looked like a very fun race there in the second half. But what was the first half like for you, knowing that you did burn off the right rear a little bit trying to fight back?
It was a pain, even with decent tires. It was tough to pass once you got a few laps on, but the front half was just kind of maintaining and trying to stay as close as I could without overdriving it or wrecking it.
Now let's talk about that second half specifically. Looked like you and Jaron were leapfrogging a little bit, taking turns saving fuel, saving tires, but at the end he let you get a kind of slide job on him, and then you just kept on holding the lead from there. How was that like for you? Just battling it out like season 1 style of Output Racing League.
Yeah, it was fun. I think we were both keeping an eye out for Christian too because we knew he'd be coming, and in those final 10 laps, I was just waiting for the other shoe to fall and Christian to come flying by. But unfortunately, as tough as it was to pass, it kept him back, and it was fun fighting with Jaron, seeing him run well, and hopefully we can do it again.
Now, how close were you at the end on fuel? Because we saw you do a little half burnout that I'm pretty sure you ran out during that burnout.
I crossed the line with 0.2 of a gallon and half a lap.
Wow, that is just about nothing. All right, Thomas, we know you got a couple of shout outs, and we know that you're also a Twitch streamer. So first, let's get a shout out to your Twitch channel, and then any other shout outs you got to handle here tonight.
Yeah, shout out to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JungleCatWizard. Shout out to all my viewers that support me every week. Shout out to all the fans that watch ORL every week. You up in the booth broadcasting it, all the drivers, and everyone on the side of the truck.
All right, now let's have a look forward to next week before I let you go again. We've got the choice of either Myrtle Beach or Nashville. So what's the feeling like for you going to either one of those two tracks?
A little bit of a shoot me if we go to Myrtle Beach. It's short track. Trucks have a tendency to be single file at short tracks, but Nashville, I've heard it's a little bit like Dover. I haven't run it yet. If it's anything like Dover, I expect to be towards the front.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Thomas. Congratulations on your win, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
All right, I'll be here. Have a good one, guys.
All right, guys, that was today's winner, and is a very happy Mr. Thomas Harmon. And that is where we're going to end off this broadcast now. Thank you guys for coming out and watching either here on Twitch or over on the YouTube channel for the replay. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. And don't forget to follow the channel here on Twitch. And until next week, when we go to either Myrtle Beach or the Nashville Super Speedway, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and we'll see you guys next week.